still beaming before the enemy comes. 'Cause you won't have time when they start to climb the hill, you know. So yeah, when you see 8,000 climbing up on you, don't see them as men, just see them as enemies of the king, you know.
Greetings from the Eccentric Man. We're at Lost Ark Games in Stevenage today, setting up for our Arnhem game, or a Bridge Too Far, whatever it is. I didn't know. This is the bridge end. That's a surprise, isn't it? It's here. We're just setting up the table. We've got gliders to come in, and we're going to do a parachute drop as well, using sort of the Warlord rules for it. Down the far end of the table, past John, is the other bridge. So we've got two bridges set out, just setting up the games and the terrain. I think we've something got around about 5 a side or 4 a side, so that's what we've got today. I'll do a few more videos as we go through. 7 a side there, Spike, John, Steve, Marcus, Colin, Adam, Paul. I remembered all the names, it's great. Oh, I'm not quite sure who that guy is though, he's just interloper. Right, so once we get a bit further on, I'll do another up. So Germans are setting up. They're setting up in the first bridge. We've got 3 German players down here. Each player's got 750 points of units. No armour, light vehicles and light artillery. So Germans setting up on this side. The centre table is for the British arrival through gliders and the paratroopers. And then we've got some more Germans setting up on the second bridge over here. So another, I think, 4 German players over this side. I think it's going to be a tough nut to crack some of these bridges. So you've got Germans deployed on this side. Oh, a little bit of harshness over there on the road. Troops set up at the back. Is that an engineer squad at the front there, left?
Yes.
Front there, engineer squad. Yeah.
Got another engineer squad in the CAF.
Some more Germans at the church. A few vehicles and another engineer squad in the building.
Have you got any men in there? They're inside. They're in the CAF, yeah.
Waffen SS squad around the left of the building. So this is going to be, as I said, the British landing area. Move on to the other side. Looks like the Germans are well in defence here. John's Fulsham Jaegers taking the left-hand side there, brought in from Sicily. And we've got some more Germans on this side. And we've got them set up over in the buildings. So looking good. What we've done, just to give a random element of surprise, is that we've put down on the table some British Pathfinders. So we've got one over there, 2 over here. And what we've done is use the preliminary bombardment for the British, adding up with the artillery observer. So 2 dice rolled, highest dice gives a number of pins. So they've pinned them out, and it just gives them the sleeping part. So some have only got 1 pin. Some, the 6s we decided wasn't going to be a kill, but would give an extra pin, so it would be 4 pins. So we've gone through and we've put the pins down, and we are now going to look at bringing on the British gliders and paratroopers, and we'll see how that runs. So some heavily pinned units there with 4 and 2, and over here there's quite a few. There's 4 pins on this infantry unit and the officers. So they'll have to rally in the first turn to do anything. So much the same over on this side. We've done the preliminary bombardment to give the pins, as for being unprepared for the parachute attack. So should see how that goes. So gliders coming in for the British. We've got one over there. And we've got one over there, and there's a third coming in, which we've only got 2 painted up. So we've got a square box.
Where do you want to go with that one? Who hasn't chosen one yet?
Oh, good question.
This glider?
This glider will be moved at some stage. Yeah, 45 degrees.
I'd say just bugger it, man, right in the middle of the road there. Why don't you just rip off the end of that one?
Okay, we've gone for it. This one's coming in on this side. That one's over there, and the box glider is there. So yeah.
I think we twist that one. Or is that the pump?
45 degrees, you can move it.
Right, angle of it.
Well, no, hang on a second.
Moves were quite small, really, which was quite handy. So we've only moved 4 here, 9 there in the centre, and 5 over there. So we'll now debus the units. Starting to deploy with the first turn, and what we've done is rolled to see what happens to the gliders, and they were all okay. We then looked at the order dice, how we're going to pull them out, and we've put in 9 dice for each faction, and then when the dice comes out, each player of that faction can move 1 unit. So we're running through that now. I've been very harsh to Colin. I've advanced up the Para Jeep, took a shot at his engineers, killed 2, and I managed to get an exceptional roll and took out his flamethrower man. But it could be risky next turn around. Might get shot. So end of turn 1, and the first wave of the British have come on, the glider troops. There's been some fighting over on the far side, a mortar team's taken out. Over here, the Paratroopers are attacking the Fallschirmjägers. There's been a couple of casualties on this side. Bit of rallying from the Germans. Americans, Rangers moving out over there. Debust infantry on this side. Obviously the Jeep did a little bit of damage on the engineers. Lots of rallying on this side on the Defender. That's a little bit worrying. That quad, 2 pins, still a lot of dice. Yep, lots of troops rallying over here. Been a bit of smoke. First time I've ever seen smoke hit with a 6 and in the right place. So giving a bit of cover to the Rangers on that far side. And meanwhile, back at the cafe, not much going on this end.
Just rallies.
We'll just wait for the paratroopers to drop in, and yeah, defensive line by the bridge, looking strong. So into turn 2. Sometimes John's luck is not very good. John took a shot at my paratroopers with his machine gun and rolled a foobar, and then rolled a 1, so returned the fire onto his own troops. But unfortunately, or fortunately for John, I could only kill 1. But there we go, that was good. Took 1 man out and saved my troops from his machine gun. So good result there. So first unit paras have come down.
It's just a 2-man team. Oh right, okay.
2-man team of flamethrower. Interesting. So paratroops coming in. 3 units paratrooping into this the square. Behind 1 failed to come in. So 2 units coming down to come and take the back end of the bridge. But there is a little bit of trouble because we got a medium machine gun on the truck, not the truck, on the Kubel wagon. I would hazard a guess, is there?
Yep, medium
yeah,
machine gun.
and we got a medium machine gun on the motorcycle behind the wall.
Squad of Germans on the wall.
Yeah, and someone in the house.
Pioneers.
Pioneers in the house. That could be harsh.
But no one knows at the back.
They can advance out and fly outside. Hold that thought.
No, you can't. Turn 2, and the paratroopers are landing on this side. So we've got 3 sections here. They did take a bit of a penalty from there because the engineers in there fired out their flamethrower, but they did pass the leadership test on their 3 pins. The section paratroopers here landed at the front of the building, which was not so good because they could get shot to bits there. But we've got another unit that are running behind the church. We've got that there. So these are all on rally for their turn for this one. So they'll be able to activate dices coming out the next bag. Still a strong presence at the bridgehead here. Germans are advancing up to the fence, and we've got the American side coming in here. Yep. So we got more troops here. Paras on this side. Some firing being gone on here. Mortar team went from this side. A British commando team was wiped out. Flamethrower team landed over by the telegraph pole, got shot at by the Fallschirmjägers on the side. The artillery piece of the paras in the middle took a shot and hit the mortar team on this side. So back over to the second part of the bridge, we've had the British land on this side. So they've landed over here. And then we've got more paras on this side. So it's going to be interesting which dice comes out first. So hopefully it won't be too bad for the British. Very sad. John's medium machine gun did quite a number on these ones last time. Had 3 killed, but I got a medic, so saved 1. But then I took a leadership test to try and move my pins, and I got a double 6. So I've got to roll for the foobar test and see what I get. No doubt if I get a 1 or a 2, I'm going to be shooting at my officer. But we'll see what we get. So 2 dice or 1 dice?
1 dice. 1.
Yes. Friendly fire.
See, I said it was a 1.
In that case, then I'm just going to.
Place the fire on the unit. Opposing. You
John's
control
dice
it.
have rather been on fire. He managed to get 5 hits and managed to get a kill and then an exceptional result. So he's taken out the leader, he's taken out my 2nd lieutenant, and his mate passed his test. But that was a really nasty 2 rounds of shooting by John there to end of turn 3, and it's a little bit better for the British and the Americans on this side of the bridge. Paratroopers are consolidating over here. 1 German unit in the centre there, but you've got that's a small British unit there, isn't it? Motorcycle combination still up and running for the Germans. Another British unit over the side. Starting to reinforce the bridge here. Artillery pieces turned, infantry units over here. On this side, the American contingents are still running round to try and put pressure on this flank. Jeep moved up, took some shots at the MMG. Didn't hit it, sadly, but it did return fire and put 2 pins on the Jeep. So into the middle. Lost a few of the artillery pieces there from John's Fallschirmjägers, and a shot from a mortar over on that side. Got rid of them. Over here, the paratrooper unit is a little bit battered, but fortunately the medic has saved 2 of them in the different firing squads. A little bit of support coming up from the other British paratrooper command. 1 unit that parachuted in last turn's gone around the flank, hoping to put a bit of pressure on these Fallschirmjägers here. John's started to be a bit more aggressive and rushed out his Fallschirmjägers to attack the centre, which is a little bit more weak here. On the far side you can see that the Germans are doing likewise, pushing out against the airborne. Oh, lost a shroom wagon there, have we? Yeah, made a machine gun there in the middle. Small command squad and mortar over there. So let's have a look over here. Not going so good for the paratroopers that landed over here. 1 British squad landed over here. Wind took it into the middle there, and then it got whittled down by all those Germans. Those 3 units destroyed it. Over here we got 2 para units. They're fighting against the 1 unit of Germans there. The firing was atrocious, and they were able to survive. Shrimp wagon, well, not shrimp wagon, Kuba wagon came up, put a few shots on. And we've got the German unit here which wiped out the American unit of paratroopers that landed here. So a bit more risky on this side of the table. Moving around, getting a little look over on this side. Germans are really strong in depth here, pushed up. Not very much here to keep them off. Just a few vehicles. A little bit more difficult for the Germans on this side. We've got the artillery piece still here. Command unit. Americans running up. Quite a few bits up here. Oh, sorry, turned on somebody's foot. Got the machine gun and the infantry troops with the Germans over here. So yeah, it's a good battle going on this side. And then we're round back to the far end of the table where the reinforcing is. Oh look, we got some swimmers in the river.
Yeah, they're dead ones.
Dead ones, dead swimmers in the river.
Dead swimmers.
So still hard pressed on a couple of points. So yeah, going well. So into turn 4. And looking very difficult for the British on this side. They're running very short, small squads here. Very outnumbered with the Kuba wagon, small infantry team in the house, and the 2 units there. Oh yeah, and there's another one coming in across the road there. Spike is reinforcing the bridge. He's put an infantry unit up. Oh, and look, there's another one in the house there. So pretty tough. Germans are moving up across the field over here towards the glider and the support units of the British and Americans on this side. centre of the road. It's been pushed up with the Fallschirmjägers and the Germans in the centre. They whittled down the British squad that was there. They've probably halved that in this turn. So let's move, see what the Americans are doing. Oh, Americans are pressing the Germans on this flank, but there's still a few Germans left here. Another one there, and machine gun in the building, and another squad in the bunker. Nice squad running up into the bridge, and there's more troops at the bridge. The little howitzer hit this turn round. Yeah, hit the paras at the bottom end.
Yeah.
So, still trying to sort out this German unit. I think the British unit, the small British unit, has gone. Motorcycle's still in play. Paratroop unit there. There was another paratroop unit which assaulted the building, and they were wiped out in hand to hand. There's a German engineer unit that's disappeared. I presume they were killed.
Yeah, they were.
And the paratroopers are nearly at the bridge. But there's, as we say, there's quite a lot of trouble in store for them.
And we're in there as well.
And you got something in that building there. Yeah. So this has been depleted somewhat. So Americans on this side are now starting to push up, seeing that the Germans are a bit weak on this side. My Jeep was toasted, which was a bit of a shame, but there we go. So moving back round, British still in the centre here, running round to the Fallschirmjäger paratrooper. Command from the British took out more of the Fallschirmjäger that come out into the open. They've gone. The other Fallschirmjäger's gone. And the artillery piece and the machine guns are trying to hold this flank. But as I say, in the centre, it's looking quite tough for the British there. So still a good game going on, and seeing where we are. Things are not looking good for the British paratroopers. We've got the unit of Germans advancing up here to shoot. We've got a unit of Germans up here. We've got a command unit in the building. We've got the Kugelwagen, and we've got the unit of Germans over there. I would say stuffed. I advanced up the lone paratrooper, took a shot at John's guy. I needed 3s, rolled 2 2s. That sums it up on this side. Got the other guy from the section, one left, medic in the middle, and got a command from the other paratroopers there. These have gone round, and they're likely to take a shot from the medium machine gun next. But we have got some success over on this far side. There are some paratroopers on the bridge. Looking good. Looking good. Still some paratroopers there. Some on the road. There's still that damn motorcycle over there. And another unit of British by the church. So closer play for this one, and we've got the paratroopers on the bridge here. 2 units so far. Still got the 2 units in surviving here. Far side, possibly the Americans are still pushing up, threatening that flank. Americans still quite good on this one. It's pretty strong, but defence is pretty good with the flak, well, the quad flak there and the units. So yeah, it's still hard pressed. Paratroopers are just about to break through into the Fallschirmjägers, if I can survive those light artillery and the medium machine gun. In the centre, not so good. 3 German units pressing the 1 British man and the MMG. Bridge still secure over this side with so many Germans. They're doing really well. Over here, oh sorry John, just hit you in the head with the iPad. That's 1 German down. And so we've got the British surrounded here on a number of pins. I don't think they're going anywhere. Into captivity probably. Oh yeah, there's another one round the house. Let's have a quick dive round as we go. Final side over here, as I say, the Germans pushing up. The Jeep's still surviving. Mortar crew in the middle. Light howitzer still there, and the Americans pushing up on this side. So yeah, a good day's gaming, but no bridges taken. Well, that was a fun day at the game store, Lost Ark Games in Stevenage. Ended up we had 6 aside for the Allies and the Axis. Excuse me. And I think a little bit hard for the Allies to complete the objectives to capture both bridges. Probably allowing the Germans to set up all their units at the beginning, even with that preliminary bombardment, still put the Allies at a big disadvantage for the day. However, it was fun playing the game, and everybody seemed to enjoy themselves. And units didn't get totally wiped out of people's troops, so that was quite good. And there were some really good fun parts to it. So things that we might do differently next time, I think probably for the German defenders, have 50% held in reserve. They can't set up in front of the river. They can set up on the bank, far bank, and then just have a couple of units perhaps in front of the bridge, a couple of strong points. That would probably do it. For the British, they would have to decide what it was going to be, whether it was going to be the gliders in their first wave or the paratroopers in their first wave, and then whoever next coming in on reserve. Excuse me, sniffing. I think it seemed to work quite well how we did the gliders coming in, and reasonably okay for the paratroopers coming in. Putting them on rally order as they came in. We didn't give them pins to mess them about, but just give them the rally order. So, yeah, overall, I think a few little tweaks needed, but not great. I think just having the infantry and the light guns and the soft skin vehicles worked quite well. So, yeah, really good time. I hope you enjoyed the video of Pegasus Bridge. Give it a thumbs up if you do. Subscribe if you haven't, and please share with your friends if you think they'd like it. Not sure what's the next video coming up. Could be the completion of the Charlie Foxtrot house. Not quite sure yet. Don't forget there is the Wrath of Freya, which is the Bad Squiddo Games Kickstarter for Viking warriors, female warriors. Have a look at that. Look out for the Kickstarter, February the 23rd. So thanks very much for watching, and take care.